Banksy is a world-renowned anonymous street artist whose work are often characterized by his satirical, political, and social commentary. His true identity remains unknown, and his work has gained international recognition for its provocative message and striking visuals. Born in Bristol, England, in the early 1970s, Banksy's rise to fame began in the late 1990s with his graffiti-style art appearing on the street of Bristol and London. His work often combines stenciling techniques with sharp wit and humor, addressing issues such as war, capitalism, and consumerism. Banksy's art has been exhibited in galleries and museums around the world, including the British Museum, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and the Tate Modern in London. Despite his growing fame, Banksy remains committed to his anonymity, often wearing disguises and avoiding public appearances. Yet over the years, Banksy's work has continued to evolve and expand with large-scale installations, sculptures, and even a hotel. He also ventured into film with his critically acclaimed documentary, Exit Through the Gift Shop, which explores the world of street art and the elusive nature of Banksy's own identity. Banksy's influence on contemporary art and culture cannot be overstated, and his work continues to captivate and inspire audiences around the world. Through his bold, thought-provoking imagery and clever wordplay, Banksy challenges us to question the status quo and consider alternative perspectives on the world we live. Welcome to episode 25 of The Artificial Mind. Banksy, how you doing today?
I'm excited about this episode because this is once again one of the episodes where I get to pour out some ideas I've had for many years on something I kind of wanted to do, a style.
If you were Banksy, you know, like how?
Yeah. If I was Banksy, yeah, what would I have done? And yep, I tried to do some stenciling back in the day. Yeah, like before he became, I think it was way before Exit from the Gift Shop came out, so it would have been early 2000s.
Oh wow, absolutely. Yeah, I think I started hearing from him when I was like younger, like older grammar school going into high school, like 8th going into 9th grade. I think I heard of him around then because I used to, as a kid, used to run, was running around with graffiti. I love graffiti. I think graffiti was the best way to kind of like, like, oh, this is who I am. This is my art. And just the little signatures will always be cool to see. I always just use the simple J.
It was really coming out at the time too. That's when it was blossoming.
Yeah, street art in itself.
I'm a long way.
Yeah, street art in itself is just beautiful in nature, and it has its own specific style. Like how kind of New York street art has a different type of street art than like California.
Say it's definitely Americana, kind of like jazz.
Yeah.
Jazz is definitely Americana.
Smooth, yeah.
Graffiti is too.
Yeah, but I'm super excited to talk about this. Super excited to show off what we did. We had some really awesome ideas.
They were just rolling off the paper. There were so many.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you want to? Well, wait a minute. V5 came out.
Yeah, we have to report V5.
Yeah, V5 is officially out for Midjourney.
J.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
It came out this morning or last night, and I wasn't aware of it.
I don't think it came out this morning. I think it came out. Well, I'm trying to really.
Very recent.
It came out just a couple days ago.
Okay.
The update that was made. Oh, okay, so here we go. March 15th. This is from David from Midjourney. Okay. Hi, we're going to try alpha testing a version of our V5 algorithms. To turn it on, dash V5 after your prompt or select V5 from settings. So what's new with the V5 base model? Much wider stylistic range and more responsive to prompting. Much higher image quality with a 2x resolution increase. Improved dynamic range. More detailed images. Details more likely to be correct, less unwanted text. Improved performance with image prompting. Supports tile, -- tile argument for seamless tiling. It's experimental. Supports aspect ratios greater than 2:1. Supports IW for weighing image prompts versus text prompts.
I was reading up on the image weight thing. It can go from 0.5, no, even, I want to say 0.25 all the way up to 5. I was just reading on that yesterday, kind of trying to mess around with it.
Yep. Also says here that the style and prompter for V5, today's test is basically a pro mode of the model. It's much more unopinionated than V3 and V4, and it is tuned to provide a wide diversity of outputs to be very responsive to your inputs. The trade-off here is that it may be harder to use. Short prompts may not work as well. And start using your ChatGPT, folks, or
get more descriptive.
Yeah, you have to start being more detailed with what you want, is what they're saying here. You should try to write longer, more explicit text about what you want. If, for example, cinematic photos with dramatic lighting. Please chat with others in prompt chat to figure out how to use V5. If you're not in the Midjourney Discord, you should be a part of it. You could also use Midjourney Discord in the Clean Sanchez Media Discord as well. Please note, okay? Please note, this is an alpha test and things will change. Do not rely on this exact model being available.
Okay.
Yeah. The last
while supplies last.
Yep. And while it says here that V5 is our second model trained on our AI supercluster, it has been in the works for 5 months. It uses significantly different neural architectures and new aesthetic techniques. V5 isn't the final step, but we hope you all feel the progression of something deep and unfathomable in the power of our collective human imagination.
You said, well, it didn't really mention, but you mentioned that it cleaned up the hand issue too. A lot of
hands
stuff
look
included.
Hands look amazing now. I mean,
so that was the only thing that was missing in my book, really.
Yeah, well, in lettering,
appendages.
Yeah,
they need to work on lettering. I forget. Yeah.
Lettering. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a problem, because I think in the art perspective of things, it's actually kind of interesting. When you see,
it's given us to become translators.
Yeah, our own translations at that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if any of today's.
Oh, I'm pretty sure mine were still version 4. Oh, it will now knowing that I'm on 5, because I did change my settings before the podcast. So to see what comes out next.
One of my renders are from V5.
Cool.
Yeah, one of my renders are from V5. I
make sure you point that out, because I want to see if there is a real difference with it.
Yeah. With this style, it's actually kind of interesting. Well, you want to get on? You want to get on with it?
Let's do this. Banksy.
First one we have here is yours.
As a little boy.
Talk to me about what you were thinking about this one.
I was thinking basically a few things, really. I was thinking of you don't really see robots in Africa. So I kind of was putting that in as an idea. I also wanted to keep it. I know I remember putting in, I wanted to only use a few certain colors. So I remember saying only use yellow, black, whites, and red, I think it was. I was really impressed with what it did with just those few colors. And I like that the picture is like the eye contact between the two is actually going on. I like that a lot too. The boy's, I don't know, he's consoling with the
communicating. Yeah. And that's what art does, doesn't it?
Dreaming. He's kind of like, I want to be a robot, kind of,
I like
the robot itself has a human face. I like that, a face much like his, so it could be like something he looks up to.
I like what you did here, because usually I go Banksy for using more black and white, but you see that there's still accents of colors that are being blended with the wall here.
That's what Banksy does a lot of the time. He incorporates what's already in the wall. So if there is color, that's cool that he was able to blend with it. But usually he sticks to white and red, because I know he likes to use hearts and roses. Those are the only things that are usually highlighted in color other than black and white.
Absolutely.
Maybe green, but I'm pretty sure it's just black, white, and red. Does like a St. Patty's Day. By the way, we have to say Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Happy a celebrator.
Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. So I wanted to. So what I did with my renders, I wanted to stay with his within his subjects, within the things that he stays in his realm, and I thought that those would be really good things to touch upon. For this one, I wanted this art. It's a art style of a scene set in a bustling shopping district. I wanted with brightly lit storefronts and throngs of people rushing into and from, something approachable. And the buildings, I want the settings to be kind of like in a city where buildings are tall and imposing and their facades plastered with like garish advertisements and slogans. And the streets are choked with traffic, the sound of honking horns and revving engines filling the air. This is the scene that I want, But what we had...
That's extra right there.
Yeah. That's literally what we have. So I'm thinking more like maybe Wall Street area type, because there are still parts of Wall Street that, that the graffiti still gets through, especially all through New York. I wanted
the ball.
Yeah, I wanted
graffiti quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I wanted the energy to be like a shopping district, and I wanted to show like the absurdity of emptiness in a consumerist mindset. Okay, what we have here, we have a child here with a slingshot. First off, we haven't seen anyone with a slingshot in years.
True. Not since Dennis the Menace.
Absolutely. So I think that the art portrayed here is just a child try to be free away from all this, trying to discard the shopping bags and the fast food containers and things like that, like the simple things. That's what I wanted here.
Dig it because it's a whole black and white picture too.
Yeah.
I think all mine are in color, so that's one thing too, is like you stuck more to like his political, or not necessarily political views, his metaphors. I'm going to call them his metaphors. I was trying to do that when I was starting out, but guess I go with a different, more, didn't stick true to Banksy like I think yours did much. It did, but it didn't. You know what I'm saying?
You went more original.
Yeah.
Which I love the fact that you did that, and I respect it. And that's why I love what we do here, because we have the same ideas, but we take different approaches to it.
Oh, and they come out awesome. I always like what yours doing, because I was like, man, why didn't I think of that? So it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, we got. You know what? We'll get together this week and we'll talk more, man. Well, we'll talk here. We'll talk here. Next,
you're bustling with ideas, peeps.
Yep. Talk to me about this one.
So, I wanted to do something. I could see him. I don't know if he's ever actually done a painting or a picture on escalators. I could see him trying to. I wanted to try and do that on here, where an image, and I went along stairwells or an escalator. This one kind of looks like an escalator, but it's stairwells as well. I just like the fact that
well, if I may add, like where I'm from, growing up in New Jersey, our subways, like going into the path, they kind of look like that with that escalator side rail look with the glass side. Yeah, like
entrance areas.
It's not that like when I look at this, it's not unfamiliar or uncommon to me.
I could see it in a museum.
I could see it in the museum too. Something modern. I love that this would be a place where Banksy would tag.
It did stay true to that. Some underground kind of looking place. Too visited at times.
It looks
Happens to be this guy right here checking out.
style.
I went with like a World War II sitting soldier,
Yeah.
and that really cool.
I really like it. Well, and, it's got that World War II filter color to it, so it's like it's giving that emotion.
It's not black and white. It's kind of a stone gray, maybe a little green too.
Yeah.
Ish, cause it's pretty close to that tint of the stairwell. So I'm gonna say kind of a stony green, be a limestone color.
Mm. Right.
Possibly.
The next one we have is. I know you really like this one. I wanted. We're going into the art style with social justice and inequality. Banksy's artwork often speaks to issues of social justice and equality, such as poverty, police brutality, and systematic racism. This is a rendered influence of his work that could feature a powerful image of protest or resistance with figures standing up against an unjust system. No, we're talking, this is a very, first off, the image itself looks beautiful. We're looking at the actions of peacekeepers, and a lot of people have different perspectives of peacekeepers.
Peacekeepers are.
Yeah, are they because we can portray this as anything, right? This could be 3 police officers.
Either way with it.
Or this could be three members of a protest group protecting themselves. These, you could go either or with this, and I mean we have the style with the smoke bomb going off behind them, and the stencil style too of that Banksy is known for. This is actually one of my favorites. I'll probably end up printing this.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. I think that's the other thing I noticed with yours. Yours stuck to more of a stencil Banksy style, and mine went a little outside of that.
Yeah,
They weren't so stencily looking.
Yeah, well, I beg to differ. There's some of them had some stencils with colors, like with this next one.
One particular,
like
I can think of now.
This next one that we have.
Yeah.
I was that the one you were thinking?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I forgot about it.
I love this one. I'm a sucker for aliens. I love the decay on it. Like, it's been here a while.
It's like out in the middle of an old drive-through theater that's no longer in service. That's kind of what I was thinking. Back wall of drive-through theater.
Yeah.
I always I wanted a picture of just 2 aliens like playing rock scissors over who gets the humans that are in the background. So a little comical.
I also like that you say it's like the back of like a drive-in movie theater, because like Banksy would do structures like this.
Yeah.
He would find something like this and be like, you know what, I'm gonna tag on that.
If he ever did a Western tour out like in Utah or Arizona or something, yeah, I could totally see him doing something like this. Out by, maybe he does do a trip out by Roswell and leaves a little souvenir. It'd be pretty sneaky on his part, because I know they got security out there like the crazy. Yeah, I always wanted to see a picture of just like beings other than us in paper rock scissors.
Yeah, I like that. The next one the next one I wanted to portray was war and conflict. Banksy has created powerful works of art around these themes of war, such as the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. I'm influenced here with not the war in the Middle East, but just war around the world and things that could happen even in our lifetime. I mean, even in some cases, you could relate to this one piece of art if you're living in Ohio right now.
Both of us could.
If you're living...
Either one of us could, really.
Yeah, if you're living in Ohio, you've recently seen something like this. And, these are the realities of art that artists portray, like Banksy. What I wanted was kind of like a reality of war here. And, again, he's got that beauty. The drip is here. and I'm not talking about the slang. I'm talking about the paint drip that Banksy is known for, and it works. The colors work. It's very monotone. It's very depressing, and that's the feel that I truly wanted, and we got it.
There's truth in there. There's no lying. There's just nothing but truth in that picture.
Yep. Next is I love
Jedi made. That's what I'm going to call it. I just thought of it.
Jedi made.
Jedi made. So, remember exactly what the prompt was, but I was going along with Banksy, and actually I remember somewhat now. It was like Obi-Wan on the side of elevator doors. I'm along the lines of that, and I did a couple of different versions, but this one's cool because it was like in a closet, like you're opening up your supply closet, and you got all your cleaning products on the left there, and then you open this little sliding door that's on the right there, and right behind it's what Jedi made.
I love
I
it.
had some extra paint one day and was like, hey, I still got a half an hour before I punch out.
And in an alternate,
we do.
in an alternate world, Banksy comes through and it just stencils something real quick.
Like that. That's the simplistic Banksy right there. 2 colors, black and white, and just look what he accomplished with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do a lot with just 2 colors, even one.
It must have been really interesting for the AI to make this, especially if you go through the list and if you look through the Banksy work that is made through Midjourney, they're beautiful and they're all well made, and it's like, oh man, like it does such
check them out.
It does such a good job. It does such a good job. Next.
I don't try to look at subject matter too much before a podcast of other people's stuff. I will afterwards. But yeah, I definitely want to check out, because I didn't even think about that really. Like, I'm going to do some Banksy stuff. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have now too. So
there's tons of it. You need to take a look. It's beautiful.
I will definitely do that.
This one, I wanted to portray power and authority, which is another style, another theme that Banksy works with. His artwork often critiques those in positions of power and authority, such as politicians and corporate leaders. What I wanted to symbolize here was I wanted a stark image of what that power and control, with figures symbolizing the forces that seek to dominate the oppressed. In this image here, I want, you see a man here either trying to sell berries or some kind of, fauna or plant life to somebody. He doesn't look like his clothes are comfortable or clean, and he just wants to make his way. And then you see he has like the rest of his stuff like hanging on behind him with some type of bag type ordeal there, or maybe it's just flying around on him as he's running. Maybe he's running. And I think, without going into too much detail, this one render portrays exactly what I'm trying to show.
It goes back to the classic black, white, his black, white and red. Black. Get my lips going this morning. It's interesting, that thing floating up in the... Oh, maybe it's part of the bouquet that broke off and blowing away, possibly. Dig it. It almost looks like he's hiding some cans of something in his pockets. His pockets are full.
Yeah. He's struggling. Now for your last one.
Yeah, and the classic stencil look. I might do that again. There's some actual technique in it, because there's layers. If you've ever watched his a movie that he did, I don't know if he did, but it was about him. Exit through the shop, right, John? What it was called?
Yeah. Yes. Let me double check. I don't want to
misquote.
Yeah. Exit through the gift shop. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is a very good documentary if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. I actually have not seen it. I didn't know that there was an actual like. No, I read about it. I actually read about it today. And next one. What
This
you
is
want
a
to
little
try
more
here?
traditional towards his stuff. Like I've seen him do, seen his stuff on T-shirts, here and there at some point. And this one I almost feel like it'd be a T-shirt. Like I could see someone buying this because it's got a child on it and it's hearts and it gets your heartstrings going down it.
It does. I love.
Right at 'em.
I do love this because it also shows like a child, being curious about playing with a cog as well, because the curiosity is there. The child is curious about love. He's curious about the wonders of what's to come. I think this is very beautiful.
You reminded me of the prompt I put in. I kind of wanted a child that comes in and heals machine of the world. It was something along the lines of that. So that's why you're seeing like a industrial, some kind of machine down at the bottom and then gears. And then there's the child trying to heal part of it. Somewhat political.
I really like it.
Gave it a more 3D-ish depth with the kid. Like how that.
It really did. Like the shading. The shading is perfect. Like the shading came out perfect to make it look so realistic.
It's stencily, but it's a little more depth in his stenciling. In the jeans and the wrinkles in the clothes and stuff like that. I think it turned this one into a T-shirt. I could really see that.
Oh yeah, and actually, our merch will be out this week, so we will have official merch this week for you guys. And the final one, I want to add a little color to it. What I wanted here, I wanted the scene. It's set in a rundown brick-walled alleyway in a low-income urban neighborhood. The walls are covered in graffiti and the ground is littered with trash and debris. But in the center of the alleyway, there is a tree struggling to survive, and it's like with the building, like the font, like the
growing out of it.
It's kind of like how it would on concrete on the ground. The
AB.
Yep. And then, we have vibrant green leaves and delicate white flowers standing on the stark contrast to the drab, lifeless surroundings. I also wanted an aperture put in the set to create a shallow depth of field with the tree in sharp focus and the surrounding environment blurred and indistinct slightly. We have ray tracing. I added some ray tracing in there, just a little bit of sunlight streamed down the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. But in the background, there's a silhouette of a dilapidated building and power lines. We have some garbage here, like mixed in with the tree that was drawn here, connected to a person or a being or some type of like scarecrow type ordeal here. And we do have words here. Banksy Barrel. Must have been an old company that existed in this alternate AI universe, in this world that Midge lives in. There is a lot of color in this. This was actually the first one I made, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
One thing I was thinking of that Banksy incorporates a lot is, in a sense, found art. He's taking a wall, so he's found something, and he's adding to it, which, in a sense, he's a found artist. Never made that connection before. Absolutely. Just my interpretation of it, I guess. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that's part of it. I mean, that tree has to be there for that thing to work out.
Absolutely. And another wonderful rendering.
Because it's tying reality to painting.
Yeah, it's actually cool because when we brought up Banksy in our last episode, and it was cool to kind of just come out of nowhere and be like, "Oh yeah, we're here." Like
it was now we're both nodded at the same time when we said that too.
Yeah. Banksy is super influential. You know, uh, he probably has inspired so many artists around the world to do other the same things. By name, I couldn't tell you.
Been around for a while now. I mean, I've actually haven't heard anything of him, but I haven't really looked either. So now doing this episode, I kind of want to see what he's done in the last couple. I'm sure he's probably done some stuff during the COVID time.
Oh yeah,
Had some downtime. Not think about that. So yeah, I need to go see. I need to go do some homework on Banksy. So
yeah. There was a lot of stuff that happened. I know that there was a museum that was showing off fake work of his a couple years ago, and that's another big thing that they have all these exhibits, but is it authentic Banksy work? Like his influence on the art world is pretty significant. Like his unique style of street art, like combining social commentary with distinct visual aesthetic.
a little bit of guerrilla tactics.
Yeah, it's really cool how he inspired countless artists around the world, and his ability to blend like humor, politics, and art, and how it's led them to being the most recognizable and sought after artist in the contemporary art field.
Yeah.
He it man, it's
Can't think of too many modern artists these days by name. Banksy's about one of the few.
yeah. I mean,
Matt Groening from The Simpsons.
you tell me another artist who has his images stenciled in cities around the world like London, New York, Los Angeles. They're constantly talking about it on the news. It's constantly subject of controversy with, especially with like local authorities, like trying to remove it or cover his pieces. And then there's the people who buy that part of whatever it is, of a building or a wall or but that's the interesting part, how Banksy puts his art on places that are meant to get destroyed or soon to get destroyed. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Is his
That mandala idea possibly that you make this beautiful piece of art, and just like the universe, all things must go, so they destroy it.
yeah, his influence has also extended more into the realm of commercial art, where it's been sold at auctions for millions of dollars, with some pieces fetching like record-breaking prices. Like in 2008, one of his pieces, a painting of a girl reaching for a heart-shaped balloon, self-destructed at an auction after it sold for over £1 million.
Oh, it self-destructed like it was in a box or something, and like ink fell on it or something, or I think
Oh no,
hearing about that.
no, like it self-destructed, like it blew up. People just wanted it so bad. But you could also, yeah, you could also see it like in the emergence of new street artists. His approach to street art inspired a new wave of artists who use the streets as their canvas to express their own social and political images. But Banksy's work has also paved the way for the acceptance of street art as a legitimate form of art, with many galleries and museums now showcasing art exhibit.
Very true.
But overall,
Art was just chalk.
yeah, overall his influence on art is strong, and I couldn't be more happy to pay homage to Banksy in today's episode.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And hey man, let's I just want to say thank you.
Down.
Yeah, I just want to say just a couple things before we go. Thank you to Spotify for podcasters for sponsoring us. We are now sponsored. Every time you listen, we get a couple cents, and then we have a lot of people around the world who listen to The Artificial Mind, and we could not be happier. I couldn't be happier for the love that you've given us. We have a couple episodes coming out within the next couple weeks that we have for you. Do you want me to go down the list of what's coming out, Joe?
Yeah, let's give them a rundown of what we've got thinking, brewing in our heads.
Yeah, I lost the page. Oh, here we go.
Set your calendars, folks.
Set your calendars. Episode 26 will be famous short stories. We're going to be covering stories like Gift of the Magi, The Minority Report, The Lottery, and many, many others. Episode 27 will be VHS. Episode 28 will be photorealistic faces, and with V5 out at the moment, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy.
Forward to it.
Episode 29 is going to be books and literature. I don't know what books Stro is going to choose. Stro doesn't know what books I'm going to choose. But that's going to be fun. And episode 30 will be Lisa Frank.
Are you 80 enthusiast or trapper keeper lovers? That would be the episode for you.
Yeah, that was actually, I'm actually kind of excited to do that. The Lisa Frank collection is still out there. You know, it's still
resurgence has come.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a very exciting episode. So guys, thank you so much for coming to episode 25 of The Artificial Mind. We did it. We're here, and we have way more for you in the future. Be ready for some guests. We're gonna be doing guests very soon. We're going to be doing some exciting stuff, and I'm still going to be enticing Strobridge to come over here. So
we'll get there eventually.
Yes, we will.
I have to BMX my way there.
Yes, we do. So everybody, thank you so much. Have a great day. Whoever is listening, whenever you're listening, wherever you're listening, thank you.
Happy St. Patty's Day.